Welcome back to the Convo Couch, ladies and gentlemen. I am Pasta Jardula, and I got Johnny Sue on the ones and two. And on the screen, we have our lawyer, our counselor, our man with the plan in Fort Lauderdale. Michael Santucci is with us. How you doing today, Treasure?
Hi, Pasta. Good to see you.
How was your vacation?
I'm waiting for it to start. You try to take a vacation, but when you own your own law firm, everybody just needs 10 minutes of your time. I just need 10 minutes. Just need 10 minutes. Multiply that by 40 people, it fills up my week pretty much. So
Well, it looks like you're never getting a vacation ever. So I'm
I
glad
did.
I didn't choose to be a lawyer. I'm glad I chose to be a commentator on a political show. But we're very happy to have you here today.
Thanks, buddy.
And we did a nice little plug for you in the law firm. In one of our live shows, we showed the good picture of you and your partner with that beautiful Miami, Fort Lauderdale skyline looking outside. You were looking all prim and proper. And I want to remind all our viewers, if they want to go to Treasure's website, we'll have all that information up. They can go over there, get some documents. You need some help. And we're also going to be doing a show this Thursday on the fair use doctrine, because isn't that your area of expertise, Mike?
Yes, that is. Not that in particular, but copyright law in general.
Mm-hmm.
That's a function of copyright law. Fair use is a defense to a claim of copyright infringement, and that's what I spend most of my time doing is intellectual property, copyright, trademark, patents, intellectual property, entertainment. It's all under the heading of intellectual property.
And I don't want to really dig deep into that, but I think you would agree it's very interesting times now with the intranet out there changing everything. What is fair use and what is also should be in the public domain when it comes to politics. And we'll dive into that on Thursday because there's a lot of suppression going on from YouTube, Google. Tulsi Gabbard is actually suing Google for $50 million, and there's reasons why. And I have the man who's going to give us great insight to that on Thursday. But let's start off today talking about a subject we don't talk too much about, Epstein. I want to get the Epstein report going, and we're so deep down the rabbit hole when it comes to Mr. Epstein. Let's talk about what you found. Since you've been on vacation and you came back, we did the show the night he supposedly hung himself. And whether we agree whether we're a Trumper or a Clintonite or nothing, an independent thinker, we also have to hold a little accountability where accountability is due for Donald Trump not keeping him alive, or maybe he did keep him alive and there's a deal cut. I don't know what to believe anymore, but what do you got as far as papers that you can brought up for us, Treasure?
Universally, suspicion. I mean, no matter where we fall in the political spectrum, we're all still suspicious, and we all have reason not to believe our government. But what's been done since he died? Tammy at our office, Tammy. What she's been doing is downloading all of the pleadings from the criminal case, the July 2019 criminal case. She's been downloading the pleadings. They're going to a server in our office, and then they're being sent to our web guy who still doesn't have them up, but he will have them up. Yeah. The challenge is getting the page to load fast with all of those documents on our page. He's trying to come up with a way to do it. If any of your geniuses there at the Convo Couch can give us some advice, let us know, because it'll speed up us putting those documents on our website. But the three things that have been filed in the docket since then are 3 letters. And remember, it's more than just a letter. In the Southern District of New York, we do motions by a letter to the judge. That's how it works. Whereas in any other jurisdiction, it would have been a motion or some sort of notice.
So this letter is almost equivalent to an official document or request, whatnot. In other words, a letter from the Southern District of New York has a lot more weight than a letter from anywhere else, maybe in Alabama, Florida, or California.
Correct. Exactly. Despite the informality of it. So it started with the letter on August 10th, 2000.
First letter. Got it.
Which, that was Saturday. That was Saturday the 10th. I believe Saturday, that's when the news broke of his death. Is that?
Yeah.
Am I correct? So August 10th, the United States Department of Justice, Federal Bureau of Prisons, Office of the Warden. So again, we got Bar, Justice Department, we got the Federal Bureau of Prisons. Working for the Federal Bureau of Prisons is the warden of this particular prison, which is the Metropolitan Correctional Center on 150 Park Road, New York, in Manhattan. Mm-hmm. He writes to the judge, to 2 judges, Judge McMahon and Judge Berman.
Yep.
Judge McMahon is the chief judge. Richard Berman, Judge Richard Berman, is the district judge assigned to this specific case. The chief judge of the Southern District of New York courthouse. So basically advises the judge that he passed away. They say kind of what you've heard in the media. The time of death says 7:37 a.m.
Okay.
That was news to me. And they said Mr. Epstein had been found unresponsive in his cell in the special housing unit at around 6:30 a.m. from an apparent suicide. Those were, the words then that Barr reiterated, apparent suicide. And that's what got everybody, thinking that this is probably a suicide, at the MCC. MCC is the Metropolitan Correctional Center in Manhattan. They said the responding staff immediately initiated life-saving measures and requested emergency medical services, by whom Mr. Epstein was transported to a local hospital for treatment of life-threatening injuries. Mr. Epstein was pronounced dead at the New York Presbyterian Lower Manhattan Hospital in Manhattan. He was pronounced dead. There are a lot of Young Turks, Cenk on Young Turk said, if you're looking to launch 1,000 conspiracy theories, this is the way to do it. But there is one conspiracy theory out there that may be true, that he's not dead. It would have taken a lot.
We don't know.
To be on board with that to fake his death, but I believe it's possible, and I'm sure a lot of people do. But at least that hospital, the New York Presbyterian Lower Manhattan Hospital, did pronounce him dead on that morning. So, which
in any case, the people at the New York Presbyterian Hospital, I don't think they can verify 1,000% if it was Jeffrey Epstein. I mean, they didn't have any medical records over there or dental records to make sure it's him. They were just told that this is Jeffrey Epstein. Yeah, he's dead. But, it's not like I said they have like a long history of records of him being in there and anybody could have identified him. A body switch out is still on the table because at New York Pres, they ain't going to know for sure. What about the second letter now?
Just at the end of this letter, they basically said there's further investigation warranted. The FBI is actively investigating the incident, as well as the Attorney General, Barr, requested that the Department of Justice's Office of Inspector General also investigate this. So that was the letter of the morning of August 10th.
Letter number one, right?
Number one. Letter number two, which is docket entry 44. Docket entry 45 is an August 12th letter.
Okay.
Later, so we're talking Monday, because I'll tell you, these judges are not going to be working on a weekend. So the judge sends a letter back to the Metropolitan Correctional Center.
Got it.
On August 12th, to the warden, saying, thank you for your letter of August 10th, 2019, regarding the death of Jeffrey Epstein. Mr. Epstein's death is a tragedy to everyone involved in this case. One open question amongst others is whether the investigations referenced in your letter will include the incident at MCC involving Mr. Epstein back on July 23rd, 2019. That is the incident that they don't confirm, but I'm understanding that July 23rd, 2019 incident to be the incident where they said it was reported that he attempted suicide and he was unsuccessful. Again, we're keeping an open mind about all of this. We don't know whether or not that was even
let's be clear. The judge is asking for information. Now, since then, that Warren Deny, I can't even pronounce his name, his last name, he's been removed. He's been reassigned. And the two guards that were on duty that night have been reassigned by your favorite person, William Barr. But what's going on with Berman's writing back there is saying, well, listen, we need some clarification on what happened the first time. We didn't get enough clarification whether he really attempted suicide, and if he did attempt suicide, why the hell was he taken off suicide watch so quickly? Or was it a possibility that he was attacked? In other words, they're going back to July 23rd, where even the judge and the Department of Justice doesn't even understand what's going on.
Yes.
To say, we need more information for what happened then, what happened just recently, and what's happening now. Because it seems like there wasn't clarification on what happened the first time.
Sure. And that's
How did this happen? How did this happen with the most watched prisoner of all times? And that's the hard part where, I hear, I did an episode where I talked about my feelings of where Donald Trump is on this case. And they don't align up with this particular situation unless he was, once again, the theory is maybe he made a deal with Donald Trump. He gave him more information, and Donald Trump said, okay, go to Saudi Arabia and get the hell out of here. Maybe they switched him out. I don't know. Anything's possible at this time. But the fact that he didn't keep him alive, nor did he get clarification on what happened the first time, is very bothering.
Yeah, and the judge pointed it right out. And quoting a judge here, Judge Berman, to my knowledge, it has never been definitively explained what the Bureau of Prisons concluded about that incident. Yeah, I mean, it's like, Hannibal Lecter tried to kill himself, and then all of a sudden he winds up dead. This is the most watched prisoner in the world right now. So at least in the United States.
Yeah. Well, I mean, I saw other statements from other wardens. I would have said somebody with a chair right in front of that cell to watch him 24/7. Like there would have been no eyes off him. I mean, why wouldn't they put a camera there? This is ridiculous. Because I know a lot of people. The talk is it went tribal right away when it happened. Who killed him? Did Donald Trump have him killed? Because, what I'm saying? Did the Clintons have him killed? Whatnot? I don't believe it's beyond the realm of a possibility that the Clintons have enough connections to still have him murdered. But if I'm Donald Trump and I'm running the DOJ, I'm going to make sure that this guy is protected no matter what. Because if he's not protected, it happened on your watch and eyes are on him. So I'm not happy about this particular situation. And it seems like nobody got answers. If the fact that the Judge Berman is asking for answers, there was no definitive answers. And this story just keeps on getting more and more crazy and creepy as we go along. Can you also read the third letter and kind of unpack that? Because to me it looked like, and maybe I'm not, giving it justice. I'm not a lawyer like you, Mr. Counselor Treasure. But it seems to me like the person who needs to come up with answers and like, oh, I can't touch that. It's in the hands of the FBI and the DOJ now. I can't give you any information what happened on July 23rd. Is that true?
Well, it's out of the judge's hands. The judge has nothing to do with it. But this prison is under the authority of the Justice Department, under Bill Barr, and and obviously his boss, Donald Trump. So is the FBI, who's the other agency investigating it, and so is the Inspector General. All of this is under the Bureau of Prisons. So it's really, one person, Barr, who's in charge of all of these investigations. That doesn't make me very comfortable. Let's have a congressional investigation into this. Like I said, this is the Hannibal Lecter of our time. How this guy wound up dead is ridiculous.
I will agree with you to a point that we should take Barr off this case because of his father's ties and the firm he used to work with with dealing with Jeffrey Epstein, but I don't want Congress doing any more investigations after all. After everything they did when Republicans controlled Congress, when Obama was in the White House, the Congressional Congress's investigation into Benghazi was a circus. This Russiagate thing was a circus. I don't want Congress investigating anything. Is there any way we can bargain or ask for an independent investigation from somebody?
Yeah. Are you saying that because congressional investigations, whether they be bipartisan, Democrat, Republican, they tend to be politicized and there's grandstanding?
Big time. They're only looking to score political brownie points. They're not looking to get to the truth. When it came to Benghazi, nobody talked about why Benghazi's situation was that way in the first place. Nobody talked about us taking out Gaddafi and turning the place into a war zone, that there would be repercussions. All the Democrats and the Republicans did was blame each other. The Democrats pointed the finger at the Republicans and said, you didn't sign the bill and you got us defunded. You defunded the embassy and we had no protections. And they looked at Hillary Clinton. They said, you just pulled the trigger and let these people die. You know what I'm saying? Nobody took accountability to why. Nobody talked about why there was an attack. They just started blaming it on a cartoon or political points. And the same thing happened in the Mueller case.
Yeah.
Robert Mueller never even investigated Julian Assange. I don't want any congressional investigations whatsoever. I don't trust Congress at all. I wish that we can get an independent investigation, but it doesn't look like we will get one.
If we don't, we got to look to our three branches of government. If we don't want Congress investigating it, or appointing a special counsel or something like that to investigate it, and it could be bipartisan. There could be one from the GOP-controlled Senate. There could be one from the Democratic-controlled House. I don't know. But, other than that, we got the executive branch, which is what we have here, and that's the Justice Department controlling all investigations and the flow of information in and out. The only other, the truly independent investigation, it would be through the media and through outlets like yours, Pasta and Fee and Johnny. I mean, you guys can use the Freedom of Information Act to launch requests for documents and information to any government agency. Now, there are some privacy issues, especially with medical records of a live person. But again, I'm researching this in real time. Once someone passes away, there are some significant privacy protections that would normally stand in the way of a Freedom of Information Act request that go away once a person is dead, as Epstein is dead. And I like saying that.
Dead on paper, let's say.
Yeah, that if the government's going to call him dead, and that's who's responding to the Freedom of Information Act request, well, then they're going to have to keep consistent with their position that he's dead. But yeah, I share your view that I'm open to anything right now.
Maybe we can start a GoFundMe or a GoFundMe to say, hey, let's fund the CONVO couch to do an independent investigation into the Epstein case, and we'll use you as our lawyers, and we'll dig deep, and we'll get some honest answers. That's what I would like.
And hopefully more honest than mainstream media as well. So who knows what dirt Epstein had on media moguls and owners of big content companies as well. Who knows how far this goes.
Yeah, I mean, you just hit it on the nose, and we're going to be talking about a data dump from Google today, and we're going to bring up the name Eric Schmidt, who was the ex-CEO, and once again, you just connected the dots. I mean, with these people who own this mass media, they don't want us going into the Epstein case, and I can prove that because all they do is demonetize everybody who does any work on Epstein. They don't want that narrative out there. So, my friends, we're not monetized. As you know, we've gotten our stream back thanks to this man sitting across us who helped the CONVO couch get the strike removed, citing the fair use doctrine, and other YouTubers out there who are having a problem on our level is where they have a problem because we don't have the money for lawyers. Thank God I'm such a mensch and a chum, and I have one of my best friends who happens to practice law, but without it, people would be lost in the dark. But, I mean, they should realize what's going on. We have to get wrapped up. I can hear Fiorella upstairs. I'm sorry to cut it short. Moving forward, what can we expect next? Will there be arrest? Will there be some people? Will the case still go on? Will it still go forth? Because like you said, now that he's dead, maybe there's a little bit more leeway to peek on in there for authorities that we can trust some of these brave souls who've brought this information to light. I don't care what party they are, but these people who kept this case going, will they have the opportunity to get their hands on some more information moving forward?
Yeah, since Epstein's case involved conspiracy, that means there's more than one person involved, more than one potential target, more than one potential defendant. Barr himself said the investigation into co-conspirators will continue, and because of all the light and heat that's been brought on this case, I'd have to believe that part of it has to continue under the United States Attorney's authority, whether it be in the Southern District of New York or whether a new case opens up here in the Southern District of Florida, which West Palm Beach is a part of, or some other jurisdictions, U.S. attorneys to investigate co-conspirators. Not to mention, and again, the warden wrote back to Judge Berman and said that the FBI and the Office of the Inspector General will each investigate this further. So whatever they come up with might be fed then to a United States attorney in the proper jurisdiction to pursue potential co-conspirators. So.
Well, you have a lot of faith in this justice system. You think it's better than most. You also cite the improvements it must make and must take moving forward. You understand. I remember having a discussion about the Rockefeller laws at the dinner table with you and whatnot, and you were kind of explaining those back in the days, and you can say the injustices within our system, and you know where they need to be improved, but you still have faith that it's a good system, and hopefully some of this information will creep out to light, and we'll get a hold of it, and we can get to the bottom of this, because I think this is, there's people on this thread, they're saying a lot of people who own media, a lot of people who invested, a lot of elites, they want this to go away, but we can't let it go away. So we're going to continue to talk about it. Let's talk about Ghislaine Maxwell. Do you believe, and this is just for fun, since we get you all serious, do you believe she was actually sighted and seen out in public?
I think it's possible. I don't have much of an opinion on that, but I think it's possible.
Johnny, what do you think? Johnny's going to put up a picture of Ghislaine. It was supposed, she was allegedly seen at In-N-Out. Get this straight. Go ahead.
You know what? I think we can verify a timestamp on this in this picture, because in the second picture here, you can see like maybe like this billboard over here, you know, like this little Good Boys. When did that movie come out? Good Boys.
Good Boys. Good Boys. Oh, my God. I think that just came out recently, bro. Oh, my Lord.
Okay, well, there's your timestamp.
Whoa, wait a second. Wait a second.
Brought something in.
Good Boys is playing right now.
Oh, hold on. Michael, you got something?
Sorry I interrupted you guys. My partner, Joe Priori, just walked in my office and handed me the last will and testament of Jeffrey Epstein.
Oh, wait. It looks like we're going to expand the show. Do you want to do it? You want to look over that and do that another time, or do you want to just give us a little taste?
I'd rather do it another time because it's quite thick.
Okay.
That?
So let's just hold that up and tell the audience what you got for them, and we'll be unshopping this. We should do this probably sooner than later. This is the last will and testament of who?
Jeffrey E. Epstein.
You're going to put that on your website for people to see, and then we'll discuss it in a couple days?
We will, and I'll get it to you even earlier, Pasa, if your viewers want to get it earlier. But all of on 500law.com, my website, my law firm's website, we're going to have all of the Epstein documents so people can make their own decisions, investigate this themselves. Anybody can do a Freedom of Information Act request, by the way. Anybody. You don't have to be a media outlet like the Convo Couch. Everybody can do it themselves. But we'll also post this last will and testament, which is not part of that case. But we will make it part of the documents available. And once I chew through this and understand it, identify some key people that are listed here and named here, we'll get right back on the Convo Couch and we'll report anything that's interesting about it.
Please. I'm very interested to know when that was signed by Jeffrey Epstein. Because some of the people in our audience said he signed it right before his suicide or right before his suicide. So we want to look into that. So now, putting that aside.
They're right.
We have a timestamp from Ghislaine Maxwell. I always say you're insane in the Ghislaine. But there is a timestamp. There's the Good Boys there. So right now I'm starting to believe that I'm becoming a believer that she was out and open. And I couldn't believe it because Johnny said, and somebody else said, like even my boss was like, if it's in West Hollywood, nobody's going to know who he is. The media is trying to suppress this story. They haven't put pictures up left and right. One of our biggest videos was called the Epstein Family Tree with a picture of Robert Maxwell and Ghislaine Maxwell on the cover. And it has almost a 500,000 views. So I would think that somebody would tackle her or grab her or somebody else would know. I mean, this woman she aided and abetted in grooming of young children. But that timestamp out there, Johnny, that was great. Finding that, I didn't even think about that. I thought it was summer, and here she is wearing a friggin' long sleeve shirt. I didn't buy it. But now that we see that timestamp, we also have to look and see if that picture was docked. Last question. Take a quick look at this real quick. Jeffrey Epstein had a visitor, right? Now, Forbes reported this. Another outlet reported this, and it said Epstein had spent hours locked in a private room with a young female visitor before his death. In other words, Jeffrey Epstein, I don't know if it was his last will and testament, his last pedophile meal, or whatever these elites were doing, these sick bastards. But supposedly, he spent 2 hours alone in a private room with a woman who was said to be one of his lawyers. Can they pull this off at the MCC?
What I heard, and I can't quote the source, is that he spent most of his time with his lawyers, because when he's with his lawyers, he can go in kind of a lawyer meeting room rather than his cell. And I bet you the lawyer meeting room is going to be more comfortable than his cell. So I heard he spent most of his days with his lawyers. So that is possible, that he spent a whole bunch of time with, a lawyer who was in. Now, I don't know. Was this woman a ninja? Like,
I don't know, but I mean, that's why I'm asking. Shouldn't she be in the log somewhere? Shouldn't she be written down? Shouldn't we know who she is?
Yeah. And one thing about the lawyers meeting with him, like that's, I don't know if this totally debunks any conspiracy theories about his first supposed suicide attempt.
Yeah.
But if somebody really made an attempt on his life and tried to choke him to death, don't you think he would tell his lawyers, and don't you think the lawyers would have filed something with the court and notified the Bureau of Prisons to protect him, or who knows?
Look, once again, this stuff is on another level. You don't know what to believe, because some of his lawyers already been implicated, like Alan Dershowitz. These elitists, they work on a certain level where nobody has to to work on, and that's the thing that makes me sick, is the fact that the only reason why we have so many poor is because some certain few want to be uber rich, and he's a part of that whole system, and it's keeping everybody down. And the reason why we have homelessness, it even equates and attaches to situations like Jeffrey Epstein. Michael Santucci, I want to thank you very much for spending the extra time with us. Get into that, Doc. Let us know what we can know. Remember, Thursday we have our scheduled show to talk about copyright, what is fair use doctrine, and all that other good stuff. You have some great information on that. I appreciate you spending the time and resources with your law firm to look into this Epstein stuff when it is clearly not what you do on a regular basis. So the Convo Couch thanks you. We thank you. Our audience thanks you.
And lastly, Michael, you're verifying what everyone was saying, right? That he signed that will a couple days.
I'll leave you with a cliffhanger. He signed it, if this is his signature, August 8th, 2019.
He signed it recently.
Recently signed it, but people fake wills all the time. That's why we litigate them.
Yeah.
So this could be somebody created a will for him. So there are two, wills have to be witnessed by people. Every state is different, has a different requirement, but there are two witnesses to this will. So I'll leave those names for another episode of the Convo Couch.
It's this case is crazy, and just because he's dead on paper doesn't mean it can't get even crazier. Thank you, Michael. Johnny, we got anything else?
Yes.
Michael Santucci, we'll see you soon. We got all the information. For all you watching there, I'm Pasta Jardula, Johnny Tsunami, and Counselor Michael Santucci. Convo out.